Good evening, sports fans! Crew back for the win of the TheTokenMinorities here today with the PCL Week 7 against our good friend and channel streamer GoldoaDragon. So he is a good friend of mine. I'll recommend you check his channel out in the description. So this is a pretty interesting game. Obviously, after last week's should have been win but lost, thanks game, thanks hacks. Anyway, after that fiasco, we decided to give Terrakion another chance. He's still on the team today. We gotta get this win, alright? We want to try to reclaim the #1 seed. I want the #1 seed because I want to play my good pal Obo, but alas, if we don't, there's still a high chance we'll make playoffs as long as we win this game. So, we got Dai, who's just barely in front of us by a game, and we've got Shay, who I think is 2 games back, but we play him the last week, so he could easily leapfrog ahead if we lose this, and then he wins next week. So we just gotta be careful. It's definitely losable, but we control our destiny at this point, and that's a good thing. I like controlling my own destiny, making playoffs. Anyway, let's talk about the team that I brought this week. I'm going to go in a little bit of detail because this is the last time I'm playing GoldoaDragon. He's unfortunately eliminated from playoffs. I will talk about the sets a little bit. So, one thing I noticed about his team is that a Rockium Z Terrakion, especially after the changes he made, hits literally everything for basically 2-hit KO damage. It's nice. So we got a Close Combat, Stone Edge, Poison Jab, and Quick Attack is kind of just filler in case maybe we need it against an Azelf or something like that. It does a good amount, maybe late game or something like that. We are also packing a super helpful Bronzong set. We're going to have the Colbur Berry, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, and a filler Light Screen. So even though it's not with the Light Clay, it still could be really helpful against, say, Heatran, against Swampert variants, against the Thunderous, so it can't set up as easily, against Mega Gardevoir, so something else can switch. It's just got a lot of utility. And look at this matchup. He has 1 physical sweeper here, so that could prove to be very helpful. The Colbur Berry, you know, if he just goes for random knockoff or something like that, like from Diggersby particularly, we know we can take one decently well at that point. So that's kind of the purpose of that set. We've got a Cofagrigus, which is also cool. It's got Lefty, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Pain Split, and Toxic Spikes. Toxic Spikes, that's going to be a first. So the idea is, if I can get rocks up with Bronzong and Toxic Spikes up, that Mega Gardevoir, no matter its bulk, is 2-hit KO'd after a couple of Rocks entries and a Toxic Spikes by Poison Jab from Terrakion. Because look at the team. As long as he's not Scarf on something, basically Terrakion cleans up the entire team and will just OHKO everything. Okay? So that's nice. That is very nice. Next up, we've got Thunderous Incarnate. So we're just going to pack a kind of bulky-ish Leftovers, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, Defog, and U-Turn. The point is to deal with Swampert pretty well. We just want him to keep rocks away from our side of the field. And we want to U-Turn on his possible ground types. We want to hit super certain things for neutral damage, like say a Heatran. You know, we just got a lot of options. We want to U-Turn. Basically, it's Defog U-Turn. That's really the whole purpose of the set. We're not going to be T-bolting all that much, but it's there if we need the stab. Alright, and so our next mon is going to be Deoxys, Speed, Life Orb, Meteor Mash, Stomping Tantrum, Psycho Boost, and Energy Ball. So Energy Ball just hits all his ground types nicely. Psycho Boost is Psycho Boost. Stomping Tantrum is for Heatran, and Meteor Mash is for basically to near OHKO Gardevoir. Depending on his spread. It will OHKO at certain spreads, it'll have a chance to KO at more bulky spreads. I could have maybe opted for Poison Jab, but last minute I decided to go for Meteor Mash for that extra power to basically guarantee more OHKOs. That's pretty cool, because that's, I think, an Event Deoxys. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. We have... Drumroll, please. GOGOAT! The GOAT is in the game. It's awesome. Akaberry, Earthquake, Hornleech, Bulk Up, and Milk Drink. So we can take on Heatran decently well. My opponent is bringing Diggersby, Heatran, Swampert, the Thunderous, Therian, Mega Gardevoir, and Azelf. I'm really liking the matchup. I really do. And I think GOGOAT has a chance to shine. So it did 3-0 someone in Mox. If it does work this game, that would be just amazing. So he leads out with the Diggersby, not unexpected. I choose to lead out with Terrakion just because I think it has a great offensive matchup against basically everything here that's not named Mega Gardevoir, and even then, Poison Jab still does a lot. I'm going to go for the first turn in close combat, knowing that worst case scenario, it would almost 2-hit KO the Swampert. So it's really crippled that Swampert. I see no lefties, makes me believe it is probably a Rindo Berry of sorts. He might get up rocks here, which is why I go into Thunderous. I do. Lefties helps to get some of that health back after Scald. Now I can go for the Grass Knot, try to KO. I do see the Rindo Berry. Unfortunate. Might mean he can get up rocks, but always remember, I have the Defog, so it is not a big deal at all. And actually, this is a good, positive net sum game for me, because if I just Defog as he rocks every turn, then I'll just keep gaining health. I got no problem doing that whatsoever. And that's what we see going on for this first turn. Just gonna Defog again. There's literally zero reason not to. Just let me keep getting health back. I got nothing but love for that. I got nothing but love for getting to full health again. The Toxics, honestly, not even bad at all. I am totally cool with that. Yeah, this is a good situation, because I can very easily U-turn out on this Swampert, KO it. It actually does more. So if he's max Fizz Def, this U-turn will do more than the 5% damage or so that he had left at the time. So I do U-turn. I go for it. That is fantastic, because it gives me the Swish initiative on this Thunderous Therian, which is amazing. I could go into Terrakion. I'm going to Z-Rock, okay? For two reasons. One, if he switches out, then I basically will just obliterate anything. And two, if he had a Rock Resist Berry, I would probably lose my win con. And I think last time he had a Resist Berry, so there's just no chances I want it to be taken. And I break the Chardy Berry, I KO through it, which is really nice. So that's great. That's awesome. If he went to Swampert there, I would have been totally screwed though. Totally screwed. Alright, so the Gardevoir does come in. I'm going to assume Poison Jab does about 60-something%. So this is not a situation I want to be in. I do still have, in the wings, the Bronzong. And Bronzong basically checks this thing entirely, which is nice. He does Will-O-Wisp. It's kind of annoying, because I do have Gyro Ball. But it still checks this thing super well anyway. I know he's going to try to bring Swampert in. I just feel like if I go for a Gyro Ball on it, it's not going to KO. So I'm just going to Earthquake. It's really safe damage, and I knew it had the full potential, the full chance to KO the Swampert there, and it did. That was a great prediction. Thank goodness for that. So Diggersby's going to U-turn. I'm going to stay in on that, because you know what? I don't really fear it that much, because I have the Colbur Berry. He goes into his Elf. That's fine. He lets me get my rocks up for free here. So, his Elf's here. It has Fire Blast, which is kind of concerning. I definitely want to switch out of there. I'm going to go into the Terrakion to scout what he does. I see the U-turn. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. We're going to take almost no damage from that, which is nice. I just know there was zero chance he was going Psychic there. There was no... Why would you Psychic on a Bronzong that can probably 2-hit KO back, depending on what move it uses? Like, there's a lot... Even through the burn, it probably 3-hit KOs that his Elf, because his Elf is not bulky at all. So, Hyper Voice comes through from the Mega Gardevoir. Does nothing to Bronzong. Just nice. I guess he doesn't have Shadow Ball, because he's not using it. So, Diggersby comes through. I'm gonna pull a double. Gonna go into GOGOAT! GOGOAT'S in the game. TB12 is in the game. Alright, switching out of there, because that's, I think, its only appearance this game, spoilers. So, had to hype that up. He U-turns, Mummy, Kofag, it's all good stuff, all good stuff. Thing is, if I let him stay in on the U-turn, GOGOAT probably would have taken about 70% damage or so, maybe 70 to 80, and that was not damage it needed to take, and I wanted to save it for later if I wanted to surprise the Heatran. So, here is Heatran versus Kofag. I'm going to Pain Split, which is really helpful because that'll take the Heatran down a little bit and boost my HP quite a lot. So that'll give me quite a few more turns here. He's going to keep Flash Cannoning. I guess that means he doesn't have Fire Blast, or maybe he has Lava Plume. I'm not quite sure, but I figure it's probably his best move to hit Kofag, which means I can Pain Split at least one more time to a net benefit. At this point, I don't think I can get a net benefit. He goes for a Dark Pulse. Surprise! If I switched to Terrakion, this would have been game over, but alas, it's okay. I get up my Toxic Spikes, which are going to set me up for success. Thankfully, the Toxic Spikes will allow Terrakion to sweep this game. Alright, that's fantastic news for me. So I'm going to go into Deoxys. I want to show off this super cool tech that Deoxys has. I'm going to go for Stomping Tantrum on the Heatran. If he switched into something else, I would have just KO'd it. Literally would have meant nothing. It was basically a free KO for Deoxys. Deoxys has been doing really well recently. So here comes the Azelf. Kind of annoying because I'm suspecting he's Choice Scarfed. He's not going to Choice Lock himself in a Psychic. There's no chance of that. So I'm going to go into Terrakion. He does go for the U-turn. Does a little bit of damage, so not bad at all, though. Not bad for me at all. He's going to go into the Mega Gardevoir, which after a second Rocks entry and Toxic from the Toxic Spikes, we're good. Poison Jab KOs. This is game, because Terrakion is going to redeem itself from last week. This is the full redemption arc for Terrakion after screwing up royally last week. Terrakion's got this. Alright, I have a feeling this is Elf. I was hoping he wouldn't go for Psychic here. Alright, that was my hope. If he got a freeze on that, we would have been in big trouble. There's just no reason for him to go for Psychic when I have several things that resist, and he's Choice Locked. So, I guess that over-prediction really helped me. I think after the game I actually learned he didn't even have Psychic, or Zen Headbutt, or anything. I know I outspeed this Diggersby, and even if he had Quick Attack, I don't think he did, as we talked after the game. Wouldn't have done anything. Close Combat, KOs, and we get the W. So we are rocking 8-3 now. So this season we are sailing through. We're almost a lock for playoffs, but not quite. I don't want to spoil the results of the other games that went on, but at least due to this win, we are not a total. We're not a total lock, but we're almost a lock, which is great. Actually, one of the results this week determine whether we are a lock or not going into next week, but I don't want to spoil your fun. I hope you will watch the other games. Well, good game, Goldoa. I know it's been a longer season for you, bud, but I'm looking forward to playing you in the GBA. Yes, we are going to be participating in the GBA main league this season. Yeah, great. I waited till the end of a PCL video to announce it, but here it is. Surprise! That's going to be starting up real shortly, so anyway, this has been fun. Rate, comment, subscribe, guys, and peace out. See you next week for Week 12, the all-important Week 12.